I've spent more than half my life combining creativity and technology to express my ideas. It started when I was 15 and I got a summer job at a TV station as an art worker. And in the 17 years since, I've been a photographer, a graphic designer, a motion designer, a 3D animator, a filmmaker, and a freelance creative. So as you can tell, I get bored pretty quickly, which is why technology is ideal for me. It's always moving forwards. There's always something new. So for those of you that were paying attention, that makes this youthful face, 32 years old. I know, difficult to believe. Hold your shock, hold your shock. So when I was preparing for this talk, I thought, I need to, it was my work really that got me up on the stage that made people pay attention. So I thought I better do a bit of a retrospective, have a bit of a look at it. So join me on this retrospective into some of the projects I've worked on recently. The clicker is working. So this is a project I did recently, which was the world's first virtual reality live stream. So as you'll see at the top there were virtual reality headsets in a major fashion brand's front window. And as you can see in the bottom left corner, we had a camera in the front row of the fashion show miles away. And this live stream allowed people to sit in the front row and watch the fashion show live in virtual reality as though they were there. This next project was the world's first virtual reality wingsuit experience. So you'll see at the top there, it all had a motion platform, and this was before the days of the Oculus Rift, so we had to design our own virtual reality headset, and that's me there with the ropey design in development. This project here, now, you see that watch on my wrist? That's not a real watch. This was a project that we did with a major department store in collaboration with a respected online design journal. And it was about the practicalities of future technologies in retail spaces. So, as you've probably seen from these images, I'm now a creative director for a company, and we produce brand experiences through emerging technologies. Now, what does that mean? Essentially, that means we use technologies such as virtual reality, augmented reality, 3D printing, 3D scanning, holographics, to make people think that brands are cool. Now, that means I've spent 17 years of my life developing a real passion for new ideas and new technologies, 17 years using those technologies to express my creativity, 17 years essentially selling pieces of myself, fragments of my soul, to make brands look cool. And I turned around and I thought, this feels kind of worthless, I'm not up on this stage talking to you about helping my fellow man and cleaning the ocean or crushes or anything along those lines. I'm here purely because essentially I ignore the very real problems of the world, or at best I ignore them. At worst, I'm personifying them and I'm cementing them. So inadvertently, by preparing for this talk, I had to kind of look at my work and what is the real value of my creativity. And it takes me back. There was one thing that happened to me about 4 years ago, and I was sitting at work, working hard, being cool, as I do, and we got a last-minute briefing, and it was from a marketing agency representing a household name. So the brief came in, and when I say last minute, people that work in this kind of industry know that means the brief came in at 1 and they wanted it at 9 a.m. the next day. So me and my then creative director, we sat down for the afternoon and we came out with 2 solid ideas. Now, I wanted to win this project, so I stayed at work all night, pulled an all-nighter, and I gave it the zhuzh, right? Now, you might not be familiar with the word the zhuzh, but you know exactly what it means. It means I gave it the visual power, right? So we sent it off the next day, and they loved it. They came back and they were like, oh yeah, we love it. There were high fives in the offices, yeah, psh, psh, yeah, great, great, great. And to top it off, they wanted me to go and present it to the end brand. So I was really excited. You know, I felt really good. I felt like this was the opportunity for me to really own something in a new technology, own an idea and get it out there to create a world first. So I worked really hard up until that point, up until the day of the presentation, late nights, early mornings, always with a smile on my face though, because I was like, this is a real chance for me to get my work noticed. So the day of the presentation, I was there with the two ladies from the marketing agency and the two ladies from the end brand, and in the brand offices. So I was there in the boardroom, and I stood up, and it was my turn, my time, and my heart was pounding, and my palms were sweaty, and I was like all dry mouthed, and I got up, took a deep breath, and I dropped the presentation flawlessly. Even if I do say so myself, I dropped it flawlessly. And even halfway through, I could tell that these people were sold on the idea. Now, all that was left for me to do was bring it on home without making a fool of myself, which I did, believe it or not. It's not as easy as it looks. Just as my bum was about to touch the seat, right, one of the women from the marketing agency said, "See, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover." I know. For real, that's what she said. And, you know, with that throwaway comment, I went from feeling like Megatron, this big, to feeling that big. And it stuck with me half a decade later. Now, two things came into my head. One was, if she's saying that when I'm in the room, what the hell is she saying when I'm not in the room? The second thing that came into my head was, well, why is she saying this? I mean, like I said, what is it because of the colour of my skin? Is it because of my age? Is it because of the way I'm dressed? Is it because of the way I speak? You know, I didn't know, and I still don't know, to be honest. But it made me think about something. And I mean, all of us can look at a piece of artwork by Banksy, for example, and we can pull it out partially due to the aesthetic, but primarily due to the concept. But no one in this room can tell me what he looks like. Now, it dawned on me that before I stepped into this room, I wasn't a man. I certainly wasn't a mixed race guy with dreadlocks from Council Estate in Peckham. Equally, I wasn't an award-winning creative that's worked with some of the world's biggest brands. I was simply an idea on an email. And this is one of the most powerful things about creativity, digital technology and creativity. We hear the phrase, technology is the great democratizer, but I think that's just as vital in terms of distribution as it is in terms of creation. Creativity is blind in a digital age. Everyone globally can have their ideas valued purely on their merit rather than who they are. I mean, what's more important to you? Is it the acceptance of your age, your race, your gender, your social standing, or the acceptance of your idea? And I think that consequently, this is why we see a much greater representation of women and minorities in creative industries. It's our strength, it's our differences that become our strengths. It's what really brings us together. So, this is a quote from one of my favorite philosophers, Khalil Gibran. "We work that we may keep pace with the earth and the soul of the earth." And never more is that true than today. You know, even though this was published in 1923, today we live in a fast-paced society. We have a rapid development, proliferation and acceptance of technologies. We can go online at a thumb's touch. We can access millions of ideas from anywhere in the world at any point in human history. And that's a very powerful tool. You know, but when was the last time you actually daydreamed? And I mean hardcore daydreamed, like drifted off and your mouth's open and you're dribbling, you know? It's difficult to remember. You know, we live in a fast-paced, disposable society, and we have disposable creativity to go with that disposable society. Now, I should have seen this coming, really. It permeates everything I do. It's kind of my fault. For every idea that I develop that gets made, I have like 5, 10, 50, 100, 1,000 that get consigned back to the realm of dreams, and then they'll never be given any kind of physical output. I could get really upset about this, probably bent out of shape, and say, oh, all of our ideas, they're all expressions of our soul, and they all have value. But at the same time, I argue that when creativity is disposable, we don't undervalue good ideas, rather we place less value on the mediocre ones. And even in the digital age, they're not discarded. We kind of leave them as tracks, as signposts along our digital path. And this, to me, again, is one of the most powerful things about combining creativity and technology. It means we're more likely to take creative risks. We're more likely to dip our toe into the creative water. We're less precious. And because of that, we can develop ideas faster and move into a future more securely as a human community. So, what did this retrospective teach me? Essentially, it taught me, yes, creativity is blind. Everyone's ideas can be judged equally. Creativity is disposable. We should really value our brilliant ideas and not be precious about the ones which aren't as great. There's a few things I have to do now after having this introverted look at myself. One is get a website, because I'm up here talking to you about this and I don't even have one. But this is where I found the real value in my creativity. It's about me being able to put my work out there, and regardless of whether it's with a brand or it's something more meaningful, it's forcing people to confront the fact that good ideas can come from unfamiliar places. It's forcing other people to judge their work against mine, and me to judge my work against theirs. So I'm going to keep using technology to create, and I'm going to keep making technology question my creativity. Because, as I found, questioning the creativity can be as important as the creativity itself. Thank you.